Have you ever, in a sudden moment, felt a sharp pain in your back after long hours of work? Or wondered why we have to endure troublesome, impacted wisdom teeth? Or even that sudden shiver when a cold breeze passes by? These seemingly design flaws of the modern body are, in fact, legacies, indelible imprints from a grand and extraordinary journey spanning 7 million years. This is the story of us. The story of how a small primate in Africa stood up, changed, and conquered the planet. Our journey began around 6 to 7 million years ago in the vast, dense forests of Africa. Back then, our distant ancestors were arboreal creatures, skilled at climbing and swinging from branch to branch. For them, the world was a three-dimensional space of branches and leaves, where food was abundant and safety was always found high above. But then, the planet itself changed the rules of the game. Global climate change caused the dense forests to gradually recede, giving way to vast, open savannas. The safe canopy home was gone, and food sources were now scattered across the ground. In this new world, fraught with danger from predators and with views obscured by tall grass, an invisible evolutionary pressure forced our ancestors to make a bold choice. Some individuals began to do something unprecedented: stand upright on two legs. This was not an instantaneous decision, but a painful adaptive process that spanned millions of years. Standing upright allowed them to see farther across the savanna, spot enemies, and forage for food more effectively. But the greatest benefit, a turning point that changed everything, was the liberation of the hands. For the first time in history, the hands were no longer tied to locomotion. They were free to grasp, to carry food, to hold infants, and to use the first tools. However, the price for this revolution was a skeleton not perfectly designed for walking upright. The spine, once a sturdy bridge, now had to contort into a load-bearing column, setting the stage for the chronic back pain of its descendants millions of years later. As time went on, the unceasing pressure of survival drove further changes. Around 2.4 million years ago, a new branch on the human family tree appeared: Homo habilis, or handyman. True to their name, they were the first craftsmen. The brain of Homo habilis was significantly larger than that of its ancestors, allowing for a cognitive leap, the ability to look at a pebble and envision a sharp tool hidden within. By purposefully striking stones together, they created the first rudimentary stone tools. This invention may sound simple, but it opened up a new world. Sharp tools allowed them to cut meat, and more importantly, to break open large animal bones to access the rich marrow inside. This valuable source of protein and fat was high-grade fuel, driving a virtuous evolutionary cycle. Better tools led to more nutritious food. More nutritious food nourished a larger brain, and a larger brain could, in turn, create even more complex tools. With a well-fueled brain and a body designed for efficient terrestrial locomotion, a great explorer was ready for its journey. That was Homo erectus, the upright man. Around 2 million years ago, they became the first hominids to leave the cradle of Africa, beginning an epic migration across the continents of Asia and Europe. Taller and smarter, they were masterful hunters and gatherers. But the greatest legacy Homo erectus left us was the mastery of one of nature's most primal forces. Fire did not just provide warmth on cold nights or ward off fearsome predators. Fire completely changed the way we eat. Cooking food helped break down complex protein structures, kill pathogens, and make nutrients much easier to absorb. In other words, cooking pre-digested food outside the body, saving us an enormous amount of energy. That surplus energy was once again channeled into an ever larger and more complex brain around 300,000 years ago. In a corner of Africa, our own species, Homo sapiens, the wise man, officially emerged. When we began our migration out of Africa, the world was not an empty land. We encountered our long-lost cousins, the most famous of whom were the Neanderthals in Europe and Western Asia. Contrary to their brutish, boorish image in popular culture, Neanderthals were actually very intelligent. They had large brains, were excellent hunters, capable of crafting complex tools, cared for their old and sick, and even had forms of ritualistic burial. For tens of thousands of years, we and they coexisted, competed, and sometimes even loved. Irrefutable scientific evidence shows that interbreeding occurred between sapiens and Neanderthals, and the legacy of these ancient encounters still exists within the very genome of many of us today. So, if Neanderthals and other human species were also intelligent and strong, why is Homo sapiens the only one left? The answer lies not in muscular strength or brain size, but in a unique ability: the capacity for imagination and flexible cooperation on a large scale, Homo sapiens is the only animal on Earth that can create and believe in fictions. Gods, ancestral spirits, concepts like nations, laws, or money. It is this ability to believe in shared stories that allows thousands, even millions, of complete strangers to cooperate effectively. We can build a pyramid together, establish an empire, or undertake a journey to the moon, all based on a belief in shared myths. This is the superpower that allowed us to overcome all rivals and become the planet's absolute dominant species. From a trembling creature on the African savanna, through millions of years of struggle, adaptation, and innovation, we have become the masters of this planet. Every backache is a reminder of the price of standing upright. Every wisdom tooth is a relic of a jaw that once had to chew tough, raw food. Every action, every instinct we have today is an echo from the deep past. The story of us, of humanity, has not yet reached its end. We have come an incredibly long way.
This is incredible.
And the future of this journey now lies in our own hands. The question is, how will the next chapter be written?